Hello and welcome back to Chaos Gaming. I'm continuing my NoMundane Run in Skyrim. What that means is all combat will be performed with magic, and I will not be using any of the mundane skills for combat, such as shields, block is the name of the skill, or archery, or those kind of things. The other aspect of it being that I won't be using blacksmithing and I won't be gathering non-enchanted equipment, with the exception of rings, which can then be enchanted as well. The last session, we came down here into Ustengrav. We're looking for the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller, and getting here, because I traveled all the way up to Solitude, and from there came down here to Ustengrav, and that took longer than I was expecting. Well, it didn't take longer than I was expecting, but it took long enough that it seemed worthwhile to split the gameplay video in... dang it, I didn't want that bow. I thought that was him. Alright, so hold on. Let me drop this. Yay, sneak. Because no non-mundane, or no non-magical weapon. Loot. Alright, so I hear something walking around. It sounds like it's up this way. So this is where I just came from. Okay. That sounds like it's on my left. Which, now that I think about it, is... Ah, crap, I forgot about it. Okay. So, apparently there's a fire trap there. Worth knowing. I'm not sure how the video recording is going to do with directional audio. Alright. Switch here to lightning bolt. Ah, he moved. Well, that was one free shot. We'll wait for him to come back around the corner. Let some magic regen. Yeah, that one shot that missed was... Alright, so we'll switch over to Sparks. It looks like he's coming this way, so... Here he is. So before we go, well, yeah, before we go down there, we'll see what else is up here. Because I had not looted this guy, and that's bad. Don't want to miss out on loot. Although, gold's really not doing a lot for me. In this particular instance, I mean, it wouldn't be bad to have a house, somewhere to store extra equipment if it comes down to it. So because it's this weight-based carry, I'm only using 89 because I'm not picking up a lot of stuff. But these are 0.1, but still, bone meals, that's 10 pounds, or 10, whatever the carry weight is, call it pounds, just of bone meal. So I mean, that's pretty, significant. And then magic potions are half a pound as well. So inventory can get, it adds up over time. Which, I mean, that's kind of the way inventory works. But it's still... Having a house means you have somewhere where you can store stuff that your storage never disappears if you put it there. So, for example, if I were to put something into this chest, and maybe this chest is a bad example, because I know there are some things that stay and some things that don't, but we'll just say the chest as an example. If I were to put something in that chest and come back in, say, a month of game time, there's no guarantee that what I put in that chest would be back. But everything that you drop off in a house that you own stays permanently. And so it makes for a good storage location. So for example, right now, if I look in apparel, I'm carrying rings and necklaces that haven't been enchanted, so that as I get the correct types of soul gems and full soul gems, I have them available to enchant those things when I get find an enchanting thing. And that'll let me, I mean, that'll push up my level a little bit, so it's kind of bad there. But getting better enchanting means that the enchanting I do has higher results in higher quality enchantments. So if I do something that says plus to damage, then it'll say plus to more damage the higher level my enchanting gets. And it's just a matter of trying to ensure that there's functionality in that. My last session, I ended up putting a point in to an alchemy, what do you call it? The alchemy tree. I put a perk point in there. Alright, and I think there's going to be some... This is... Yep, there we go. That's what I was expecting. Darn, I'm detected. Alright, so wait for things to step into the... Now that's not what I wanted. Did I get you? No, of course not. Well, so that was a waste of a perfectly good oil field. Oil slick, however you want to put it. But that's fine. Okay, so loot you. Loot you. And loot you. I put a point in the alchemy because it will increase the effectiveness of potions I make, which is beneficial because I'm... Oh, hey, so speaking of wanting to find an enchanter, so I can... dang it. Alright, so I think I picked up a weapon without realizing it was there. Yep, an orcish dagger. Alright, so I can come in here, use disenchant, because taking off the that'll reduce my weight by 14, which will be nice. And level me, cool. So the necromancer, the rest of these things I'm wearing, but I can come in here, select an item, so I'm going to select a silver garnet ring, actually select boots, select an enchantment. Fortifying one-handed isn't helpful. Well, I mean, I'm not wearing anything better, so we'll say resist shock. And then lesser, what's lesser going to do? Lesser's going to do 2%, petty's going to do 1%. So lesser is better than petty. And then I can rename it boots of grounding, because they do shock resistance. Alright, so we'll craft that. And now I have some useful boots. Honestly, I would have preferred to enchant them with what I have on my other, a few of the other things, but that's not an option. Oh, fortified destruction on a circlet. See, that's not helpful because I'm pretty sure a circlet would replace my hood. My hood already does decent, so I'll just say fortified destruction so I know to sell it. Use a petty soul gem. I really ought to do this later, I suspect, but so circlet of destruction. But I'm here and I want to empty the inventory, so this is worth doing. I've only got 5 gems anyway. Now, if I can get this ring to fortify magic regen, yes, yes, please. Grant 1% faster. Bah. Craft. Alright, so let's see what happens if I fortify destruction. Because magic, yeah, destruction spells, so if I have 1% regen versus 1% reduction in cost, I'm thinking that destruction spells costing less will end up being more beneficial long term. Craft, yes. Alright, come up here, silver ring, enchantment. And then you can also select the other way. I mean, you can, if you know what you're going to want, And since I'm just going to be selling these, I'm okay enchanting them with blocking. It's something I'm not going to use, so I don't have to pay attention to how much it was. Whereas if I keep doing destruction or something, I'm going to care how much destruction did that particular enchantment have. And this way I don't have to do that if I'm just doing block, because now the interesting thing is in a lot of games you can wear any number of items, or excuse me, in a lot of games you can wear 2 rings, 1 per hand. In Dungeons and Dragons, my understanding is that you cannot wear more than 1 ring per hand because the rings start to interfere with one another. So there's my ring of destruction, which is going to replace my ring of minor sneaking. And because it's replaced my ring of minor sneaking, now that I think about it, I can disenchant that ring. There we go. And now I can enchant for sneaking if I feel like it. So it's interesting that, you know, the whole notion of magic interfering if you put the rings too close together, like on the same finger, or on multiple fingers on the same hand. But here, you can only wear 1 ring. Okay, so Magicka, because this is level 9, oh, going into level 10. And then 10 going into level 11 is supposed to be health. That's actually backwards. So now I've got 2 perk points. I didn't remember leveling twice. That's interesting. So this requires 60. This only requires 30. This is going to require 60 as well. I haven't been using a lot of frost spells, but I'm going to put a point in it anyway, just so that when I do use them, they're strong enough to be useful. So apparently when I said I put a point in alchemy, I hadn't done it yet, which is interesting to me. So here, it's going to... Actually, so because I hadn't done it yet, I'm going to save my points because it'll come to a point where when my destruction... This is conjuration. When my destruction hits 60, I'm going to have a bunch of points I want to spend in things, and so I want to be able to have those points free to be able to do that. So I'll leave that like that. How close to leveling was I? Okay, not very. Alright, so just that I don't have to go through that again, I'll do a quick save. Now my sneak is going to be reduced, unfortunately, but I don't know how much it was really increasing it. So it may not be a big deal that it's reduced. Alright. And hopefully having 1% more in my destruction is valuable. I don't know that it will be, but we'll see. So we're looking for the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller, which the Greybeards told us to find. And the Greybeards provided a source of information. Oh, missed. Or rather, proved to be a source of information. About what it means to be Dragonborn. So they told me that Dragonborn means that I don't have to study really hard to learn how to use dragon shouts. And what dragon shouts are, they're basically just words in the dragon language, but the dragon language is such that when something is said in the draconic tongue, the result is actually an impact on the surrounding world. So for example, I have a shout that knocks things back, and there was an... Ow. Well, they killed themselves. Good. And then there was another shout that will allow me to sprint quickly between to a different area, or straight ahead. Pardon me. Get past that because that was loud. Okay. Anyway, it'll let you sprint to another area. So the dragon language influences the world directly. It has immediate effects. And so dragon shouts, one of the things that it says in the loading screen is that dragon fights are deadly arguments because of that's the way the dragon language works. And so the dragon, anyone can learn the dragon language through concentration and meditation. But the dragonborn can actually absorb dragon souls and so learn the dragon language more easily. And so that's the primary thing that the dragonborn is, and the dragonborn has a prophecy about him and all these other things that are common in this kind of genre. And so they explain that's who you are, they explain what they try and study the shouts to, I guess, kind of reach enlightenment type thing. It's not a combat thing for them. It's largely become a combat thing for the Dragonborn here because of the type of environment that you're in and all of the political strife that's going on. And because dragons have re-entered the world and somebody needs to be able to deal with the dragons. It's kind of interesting in that regard. And so you find these walls. From the wall, you learn what a shout is, but you have to expend a dragon's soul to be able to utilize the shout. But in the past I've had difficulty killing dragons, so absorbing dragon souls is going to be a bit of an issue for this character. I encountered a dragon on the way up to speak with the Greybeards, and that dragon, basically what ended up happening is it killed me twice, and for the sake of actually progressing, I decided I wasn't going to fight it anymore and just ran away from it. And a troll that was there at the same time, because I couldn't stop to fight the troll without the dragon breathing on me. And so I had trouble killing a dragon there, which is going to make absorbing dragon souls difficult. One of the things I've read is that if you... Let me just do this, because I don't need to be stealthing right now. If you kill a or if you level, dragons level with you. And it said that they leveled every 10 levels. So you want to try and fight a dragon on the high end of your that 10th level. So for example, I think I just hit level 10, so I should have been fighting at level 9, which I may very well have been. And you don't want, and so I won't want to fight at 11, I'll want to try and fight at 19 instead, where I have a choice. Don't know how accurate that is. I thought he was going to keep walking. Alright, but it may very well be. Did he fall? No, I don't want to fall. Alright, here's a bone. There's the arrows. So you can't sell the lowest level arrow, but the arrows above that level you can sell. So I'm collecting arrows primarily as a source of a little extra cash. I won't be using them because I won't be using bows, but still. Now there is a spell called Bound Bow, which means you conjure a magical bow, but that magical bow also has magical arrows, and those magical arrows are some of the best in the game. The trouble with Bound Bow is it has a really... Hold on, let me back off and I'll worry about this in a second. It has a really expensive casting cost, so I can't use it as a backup when I'm out of mana, because it has a really expensive casting cost. Alright, so that raises, that raises, that raises. Cool. Is it time? No, because that one had... Okay, so being close to it... Yep. Alright, so let's see here. I have a shout for this. Whirlwind Sprint ought to do functionally. Magic. Shouts. Alright, I'm on Whirlwind Sprint. Good. Let's see if this works. No. Ow. Oops. Huh. was still recharging. Oops. Alright. So I can't sprint far enough. I wonder... So each of the... Hold on, let me get into this. I'll show what I mean, hopefully. So each of the shouts... So Unrelenting Force, I have 2 words. Each of the shouts have 3 words, and it's supposed to make each shout more powerful as you do it. So I only have 1 word of Whirlwind Sprint, and I wonder if I get a 2nd word of Whirlwind Sprint if I'll be able to sprint farther. I expect so. So unfortunately, it's looking like I can't get through there until I get that other word. So I'm going to have to go back out of here, which, I mean, no big deal. Kind of a bummer. I was hoping to be able to get through this. I just chose to come in here, and I should not have. Should have gone the other way first. But I don't know where the 2nd word of Whirlwind Sprint is. In my first time playing the game, I did find it, but I found a whole lot of stuff, and I don't remember when I found what. So what I'll do is I'll leave here, end this session with that leaving. Alright, so I think I can... I don't remember which side it was, so I'm not going to worry about it potentially looping, and it was the far side then. That's fine. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll leave here, and that, and then there was another dungeon, basically, that I passed on my way here that I will go to and see if I can't... See if maybe that's not where the other half of Whirlwind Sprint is. Right, forgot about that again. The only problem with that's going to be having to run back down here. The game does respawn things sometimes, so I mean I may still be able to, still have to fight some stuff, we'll see. I'm just kind of frustrated that I came all this way and couldn't do anything like I thought I could. When I get from 12 to 13, I'm going to switch to an every 4 rotation. I know this is kind of switching topics without clutching, switching gears without clutching. If for those folks who have a manual transmission, you know what that means in their vehicle. So as far as my when I level, going forward, which way is the exit? That way? I think that way. Going forward, what I'm going to do when I level is I'm going to put 3 points in Magicka for every 1 point that I put into health. Just because, I mean, health is kind of an issue, but I'm finding that health potions are more common than Magicka potions, and I'm also discovering that I'm running out of Magicka mid-fight anytime there's more than 2 things that I have to fight, or 2 things that are somewhat strong themselves, and that's really frustrating. Okay, so let's see here. So I'll be doing that so that I have more Magicka, because the more Magicka you have, the faster it regens, and Magicka regens just really important when I'm playing as a solely magic user. I mean, it wouldn't be so big a deal if I had the, what do you call it that I mentioned earlier, the staff, but I don't, so I can't rely on that. Whoa, did I just hear an arrow? Alright, and is my, yes, my horse is alive. Okay, so I am, alright, so remove the local map. I'm going to port back over here to Fall Gunther, and then when I land, I'll make sure that there's nothing around, but I'll save it there, and then end this session, and then the next session will be me going through Fall Gunther, and we'll see whether or not Fall Gunther is where I get the other thing for Whirlwind Sprint. The trouble will be I have to kill a dragon for Whirlwind Sprint to be useful. So I'm going to save it here real quick, just so that my horse is alive on a save. And then that'll be it for this session. Thanks all.